North Texas is 5-0 for the first time since 1959. And tonight welcomes 24th ranked USF to a sold-out, blacked-out DAC Stadium. There's been a mean green social media buzz this week, and the administration is all in, as school president Harrison Keller announced Wednesday on X that all classes after 12 noon today were canceled, and I was there for it. How would you describe the excitement around this program?
Our first sold-out game ever, and we're watching history unfold live. Let's go USA!
What's the best part of this football team?
Our offense is electric, and tonight we're putting points on the board.
The stone-cold energy of our defense!
Yeah! What's inside the stadium going to be like tonight?
Absolute insanity!
Well, insanity begins to make its way into the stadium. Quick stop for tailgating. They're going to be loud and lathered for the first sellout in the history of DAC Stadium. It's one of the biggest games in recent memory for North Texas, and there are big Group of 5 playoff implications tonight. Welcome to the Rocket Money Kickoff. Here in Denton, Texas, we're going to get to see two special quarterbacks. Drew Mestemaker never started a game in high school as the varsity QB. He's put up Conference Player of the Year type numbers for North Texas. 11 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions. For USF, Byrum Brown does it all. Lord Byram's thrown 4 touchdown passes in back-to-back games. And oh, by the way, his South Florida Bulls already have wins against Boise State and Florida, and they've played Miami, the number 2 team in the country. That's their lone loss. Battle-tested as they come to Denton. And Ishrop, Andre Ware, we'll get to Paul Carcaterra in just a little bit. Playoff implications.
Oh, yeah.
Control of the American Conference at stake tonight.
Couldn't wait to get to this one because we have 2 outstanding teams. You've already referenced the quarterbacks in this one. We're going to have some great quarterback play, but a lot at stake in terms of who's in the driver's seat from the group of 5 to get to the playoff.
Let's take a look at today's Spotlight, brought to you by Rocket Money. Byrum Brown, he's the dual threat quarterback who can run by you and run through you.
Yeah, he can certainly do that. He's added weight so that he can remain healthy all season long. He throws dimes, drops it just about everywhere on the field that he wants. And when things break down, so strong, so elusive, so powerful that he picks up first downs with his legs. This guy is going to be fun to watch tonight.
4 touchdown passes in back-to-back games. Big environments don't faze Byrum Brown. Kickoff is next. This has been the Rocket Money Kickoff. College football primetime presented by Ram Trucks. All a part of the American Conference on ESPN. North Texas at 5-0. South Florida at 4-1. The lone loss to number 2 Miami. Both of these teams figure prominently in the Group of 5 playoff conversation. You look at the odds entering tonight, amongst the best of any Group of 5 team, and it just feels this year that the champion in the American will be the Group of 5 playoff representative. Alex Golesh, he's become a hot name with some big-time coaching openings out there in his 3rd season with the Bulls. They played one of the toughest non-conference schedules in the country, walked away with wins against Boise State and Florida. South Florida to kick it away. North Texas won the toss, chose to receive, and will bring it out to the 25-yard line. It's a real-life Rudy in Drew Mestemaker at quarterback for UNT.
Yeah, this is a young man who hadn't started a game before this season. Actually started the bowl game, but a regular season starter since his 9th grade year. You really don't hear it. Unprecedented in his approach to getting here and becoming the starter at North Texas. But I tell you what, this coaching staff, along with Eric Morris, the head coach, they love Drew Mestemaker.
Out of an empty set to begin. Escaping and throws it away. Pressure coming from Iris Singleton, South Florida's best pass rusher.
And right away, you see why there's not a blemish on his stat sheet where interceptions go. 11 touchdown passes, no interceptions this year for Mestemaker because he takes care of the ball, doesn't force it. When nothing's there, throw it away. And what I like most in these, he spreads it around to a bunch of receivers.
And he's got this guy, an emerging star in Caleb Hawkins, but met with immediate resistance by Mac Harris. Harris and Jalen Schuler, the best linebacking tandem in the American. They make it go defensively for South Florida.
Yeah, they do. Second year as a full-time starter. He's their most consistent defensive player, he being Mac Harris, a guy that was a 3-star recruit out of high school and has just continued to develop.
Hawkins, a true freshman. They really love him in pass protection. He's in there to block here on third down. Now leaks out. A strike over the middle, and it is dropped. Would have been a big gain and would have been a first down, but the tight end, Trey Williams, dropped it.
Don't see that much from Trey Williams. It would have been his 10th reception of the year, and I tell you what, it's right on the money. Nice tight spiral from his quarterback, Drew Mestemaker. That's one that you got to go to the sideline if you're Trey Williams III and own that one and tell him, hey, I got you, come back to me.
A rare 3-and-out for North Texas, and Sawyer Evans, the all-conference punter, to kick. Alvon Isaac waits at the 35. Isaac fields. He stepped out of bounds as he caught it. And it'll be South Florida ball at their own 31-yard line. Byram Brown last year was hurt most of the season with a leg injury 2 years ago. Put up big-time numbers right up there with Jaden Daniels, who would be the eventual Heisman Trophy winner. He's their leading rusher. He's a true dual threat. And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 guys to bring him down.
Yeah, he's the first quarterback in school history to throw for more than 3,000 yards, a 3-year starter. And then I mentioned if he chooses to, he has one more year, Anish, that he can come back to South Florida. So this guy is powerful when he pulls the ball down to run it and make plays with his legs.
First down, the handoff is to Sam Franklin, who picks up 9 on the play. Franklin came in averaging better than 7 yards per carry, part of a 3-back rotation tonight with Nikai Davenport and Isaac. Franklin, another big hole, gashes the defense into the secondary. North Texas saying the ball came out at the end, and they say no, he's down.
They're going to rule him down in another first down.
Prior to the fumble. First down.
For Sam Franklin. The thing about it that you're impressed with this running back room of South Florida, all of them average more than 5 yards a carry.
And they're without one of their rushers, Cartavius Norton, who got hurt last time out against Charlotte. Screen pass to the outside. Mudia Rubin, who graduated from Stanford in 3 years with a nice gain. And tempo,
don't
part of the DNA.
Don't blink when you're watching South Florida. They are going to go, they're line up in a hurry and run plays quickly.
Right back to Rubin, who pretzels forward for a first down.
And the more first downs that they gather, Anish, the faster this Alex Golesh offense seems to go. They're balanced, they'll run it, and they'll sling it around.
Brown lit up, he lost the football. Who's got it? North Texas does. Ethan Day covers it up, and Andre, it looked like they almost went too fast that time.
Yeah, a little bit faster than maybe they thought, but Ethan Day comes free. Ball comes out, he's going to recover it. That's a guy that actually had a touchdown catch against Washington State a couple of weeks ago. So he is all over the field for North Texas.
Classes canceled at noon. They have been tailgating since early in the afternoon, and we're told there's still some traffic on I-35. More people are filing in.
Yeah.
An announced sellout tonight.
Yeah, keep an eye on North Texas. After turnovers, they put the ball in the air.
On the ground to Caleb Hawkins, the true freshman, for a gain of a yard. He has 7 touchdowns total in the last 2 games.
And after a turnover, Anish, North Texas has scored 9 out of 11 turnovers. They've scored touchdowns.
Estemaker downfield, that's caught for a first down out of bounds. Cameron Dorner, 16th catch of the year.
What a throw. I mean, I watched plenty of video on this young man this week and didn't see one like this. Nice tight spiral, tight window along the sideline, and he puts one right on the money. Not sure what was going on at Vandergrift High School, but they must have had a couple of good ones in front of Drew Estemaker.
One of them is a catcher for the Baylor baseball team. The other a backup quarterback at Louisville. Estemaker zings one up the middle. It's batted down by James Chenault. Flag down as well.
Chenault's their best cover corner.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 9, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Right on a crossing route, working against Miles Coleman, arguably the top receiver for North Texas, and that's going to set him up just inside the red zone with 1st and 10.
In the red zone this season, North Texas has scored on 30 out of 31 trips, 25 touchdowns. It's the freshman Hawkins, and he picks up about 4 on the play, tackled by Jalen Schuler, second part of that linebacking tandem.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 2 guys in Schuler and Harris that can play, and DJ Harris as well. The third linebacker is a pretty good one in his own right, but you're not going to tackle Caleb Hawkins with one arm or arm tackle him, period. Big, strong, true freshman that is outstanding in pass protection. But goes about 6'2", about 200 pounds, but boy, does he run with some power.
This Mean Green offense has scored at least 30 points in every game. Estemaker underneath. That's completed. It's Dorner again to the 10.
And this is where they really like to go to Caleb Hawkins. 2 touchdown runs in their previous game against South Alabama. He scored 7 touchdowns in their last 2 games. So he knows how to find the end zone.
4 rushing touchdowns in a win against Army. And then he had 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown in the big win against South Alabama. Bring the blitz. Estemaker completes to Wyatt Young. He's going to be a little short.
Really good tackle.
4th down, about a yard and change, and the offense will stay out there.
Yeah, Deshaun Rucker, they've got 2 of the best in the American at corners. Chenault, that we talked about a little earlier, and then Deshaun Rucker, who transferred in from Tennessee, has a ton of speed. You may get, you may beat him off the line of scrimmage, but it isn't going to be for very long. He has got some true recovery speed.
This is the 10th 4th down attempt for North Texas this season.
Boy, look at this formation.
Quad set to the top of your screen. And we get a timeout by USF. So their defensive coordinator, Todd Orlando.
Timeout. South Florida, that's their first. Give me 30 seconds.
Got a snapshot of the picture, didn't like what he saw. North Texas last year, they went for it more on 4th down than any team in the country, and kind of came in with their kicker having a shaky week of practice. We expect the Mean Green to be aggressive on 4th down today.
Yeah, 56% on the year so far would be the Mean Green. So not afraid. They've tried it 9 times already here early in the season.
Their head coach, Eric Morris, a bit of a quarterback whisperer. He's worked wonders with Estemaker. He found Cam Ward when he was at Incarnate Word. Originally recruited John Mateer, who might play for Oklahoma this week against Texas.
Coach Case Keenum at Houston, along with Baker Mayfield, Davis Webb, and his most famous pupil, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that guy. South Florida had 12 guys on the field before that fourth down. Blitz off the edge. Hawkins hit, breaks the tackle, and lunges to set up 1st and goal. That's why he's RB1.
Yeah, and that's why you got to make sure when you hit him, you're bringing everything and you're wrapping up. He's powerful. He will run straight through arm tackles, and he loves this area of the field.
It's what makes the offense hard to defend. You can spread the other team out, and then you've got a hammer in Hawkins.
And it makes it easy because you essentially go man-on-man on the offensive line. All he needs is a crease. And you see his last 3 games, 4 touchdown runs against Army.
Mestemaker keeps, gets the edge, in for 6.
Everybody in the stadium thinking Caleb Hawkins. And so the flow of the defense goes with Hawkins. And then it became just a foot race between Mestemaker and a couple of defenders from South Florida. That's the 10th touchdown scored on turnovers out of 12 that North Texas has forced this year.
Both of these teams have thrived off takeaways, and North Texas capitalizes off their first takeaway.
So you get the misdirection, you show it to Hawkins, you get everybody biting down inside, and it's Drew Mestemaker getting himself into the end zone. North Texas up 7-0.
College Football Primetime is presented by Ram, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, a former North Texas linebacker. This is strong producing by Chris Damiani. Our next WWE event, the 7th annual Crown Jewel, for the first time down under in Perth, Australia. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. John Cena continues his retirement tour. Notable WWE wrestlers who played college football. You know about The Rock in Miami, Roman Reigns, Georgia Tech. John Cena was a college football player too.
It's good stuff.
Part of the North Texas turnover celebration is a homage to the great Stone Cold.
Big dude, that's for sure. Now we got to see what the big guy Byron Brown, Double B's, what he has in store after that fumble right around midfield or so to set North Texas up. Now outscoring opponents in the first half, 135-41 for the Mean Green.
Brown, the quarterback keeper, trucking behind an offensive line that features 4 6th years and a 5th year, and he picks up 8.
It's like having a big fullback that can throw the football. That's kind of how I would describe Byron Brown.
Mekhi Davenport will be close, and he's got enough. Go back to last week. Last Friday, South Florida beat up on Charlotte, put up 54 points in a lopsided victory, but there was some sloppiness, 4 turnovers in that game.
Yep. And 2 of them came in the hands of Byron Brown, 2 interceptions in that game. Go on the road, you have to protect the football.
A slingshot to the near side. It's hauled in by the true freshman Christian Neptune, who has flashed. 5 catches against Florida, 7 against Miami.
Yeah, they like the true freshman. Very big, bright future. 15 catches as a touchdown reception to go with it, and with some pretty good size as well, just under 6 foot. But he can motor.
Please reset the game clock to 7 minutes and 50 seconds, and the 25-second play clock to 25, and both will start on my signal.
With this offense, the clock operator has to be on point.
Yes, he does. As well as the guys with the chains, because they're constantly moving. Rarely do you see negative plays in this South Florida offense, but You're right. They're going to go at warp speed in this one.
Brown keeps it on the zone read, and he's got a first down to midfield. Will Jones, the safety, the stop. An offense that put up more than 400 rushing yards last year, and speed is the name of the game. They're lined up already and ready to go. Chaz Nimrod with his first catch, the Tennessee transfer, who's already become one of the top receivers in the American.
Yeah, when you go this fast, you got to have success, especially on the early downs, first and second down. When you pick up that first down, that's really when they get going.
They lost the ball again. North Texas covers it up. Shane Witter recovers the fumble. 2 drives for the Bulls, and they've coughed it up twice.
Yeah, I asked Coach Golish this week, what slows you down? Obviously, it's turnovers and not executing the way they want to. Second fumble recovered by North Texas in this one.
Because that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Love it.
There's the genesis of the turnover celebration on the sideline. And they've had 2 occasions to celebrate today. North Texas, 2 takeaways. South Florida, 2 offensive possessions. And now on first down, here's Mackenzie McGill, who jimmies his way to the 47-yard line.
Boy, they've got as good a 1-2 punch in the American as any team with McGill and Hawkins, kind of thunder and lightning.
Off play action, wide open, Brandon Young in the flat. Just his 2nd catch of the season, 5th of his career. The backup tight end, and he's into USF territory.
Yeah, the only catch was a touchdown reception for Brandon Young Jr. out of Mansfield, Texas, Legacy High School. Well, they have South Florida right now off balance. When they're thinking run, they're throwing it. When they're thinking pass, they're running it. Just totally off balance defensively.
Varying the tempo. Mestamaker, high throw, brought down. Dorner, and another red zone try for North Texas.
Dorner from Division II Shepherd. And I'm telling you, this kid can put the ball in tight windows, throws a very tight spiral, which makes it a catchable ball for all of his receivers. 13 different players on this offense have scored touchdowns this year. They hit you in a variety of ways.
On the ground, McGill, who's got a couple of 100-yard games, tackled by Gaskin, the safety.
But when they have you that spread out, you don't have to be perfect up front. You got a quarterback that distributes, reads and processes fast, extremely smart, knows this offense like the back of his hand, and that's why he pushes it around to different receivers, and you can't really focus in on just one.
Quick throw, intercepted, picked off by Schuler. 3 total turnovers in this game, 2 by South Florida, now 1 by North Texas. It's the first interception thrown by Mestamaker this season.
What did I tell you earlier in the week? I tell you, when you come to town, this is the 3rd consecutive week that we've had quarterbacks in game, and Anish Shroff comes to town and the guy throws an interception.
You realize you come
Weakness
to town.
Of the defense.
You come to town with me, by the way.
It's your fault, though. Weakness of the defense right in the middle, but Schuler kind of baits Mestamaker into throwing there. He's making him look or think that he's going to go outside, drop outside. He steps inside in front of the intended receiver, Dalton Carnes, and then it turns into a foot race.
That's the 5th time this season the Bulls have gained a turnover in the red zone. Quarterback draw. Room to run for Byron Brown. Shedding tacklers all the way inside the 35. The corner, David Fisher, able to get him down. Both drives for South Florida that ended in turnovers, ended in plus territory. They've shown they can move the ball. Isaac picks up about 7.
All he does is average about 6.5 yards a carry. Made a big splash in the Boise game, as well as Florida.
Brown keeps it on the zone read, yanked down right at the sticks, and it up for a first down.
Big Bryson Hayes, the Sam Houston transferred in with Skylar Cassidy, the defensive coordinator, and stepped right into a starting role.
Brown wants to throw, pocket collapsing. Brown's pass is tipped and knocked away. Near disaster yet again for South Florida.
It may have been Ethan Day, the transfer from Wyoming, along with Trey Fields getting a hand on it as well. Had a receiver open. They're going to go to the post, and I mean wide open, and nobody there.
That was Jeremiah Coger. Second and 10.
Had a little more time.
Isaac jigsaws his way to about the 20, third down.
They're big down here from North Texas. This is when you get South Florida in 3rd and long or 3rd medium. You got to get yourself off the field. That was one of their keys to the game defensively.
They keep it on the ground with Isaac. Play call leads you to believe they might have had another play in the holster. 4th down, offense staying out there.
One of the best kickers in the country in Gramatica, but they're playing catch up right now, down 7-0.
4th and 2. They run it with Brown. He's got the first, and anvils to the 7-yard line. 1st and goal, South Florida.
In a very different comparison, if you let Brown get going the way Derrick Henry goes, tough to bring him down.
He gets going again, downhill, into the end zone for 6.
If you force him to chop his feet in the backfield, you got a chance. But if he is approaching the line of scrimmage and he's just about at full speed, almost impossible for the first defender to bring him down.
Turns into a one-man stampede.
Just like that, South Florida has a chance to knock this thing up at 7 apiece.
And they do with Nico Gramatica, the son of the great Martin Gramatica.
Just inside, everybody's biting down inside. It's an easy walk-in touchdown for Byron Brown.
What did you call him? 6'3", 230, a fullback that can throw?
A fullback that can throw, coming downhill. I mean, it's tough to bring him down. And he likes it. He loves the contact, loves running it. That's how he kind of gets himself settled into a game. And then the other stuff starts to come along with it.
Bruce Feldman, who does an outstanding job for The Athletic, puts out the freaks list every year.
Oh, he's definitely one. No doubt about it.
600-pound squat, 300 on the bench, and he's been clocked at 22.5 miles per hour on the GPS card.
Absolutely, and one of the main reasons he was under-recruited, he was smaller in high school. He grew 6 inches during the pandemic. When he arrived at South Florida, he was only 209 pounds. Now he's 232 pounds. And when you talk to anyone around the program, this guy owns the weight room.
Yep, Friday nights means first interceptions. It's Connor Wigman at the University of Houston a few weeks ago. The Big Bear at BYU last week, and then here, Drew Mestermaker. Telling you, Carcaniche comes to town, interceptions are plentiful.
He's a mush. That's what they call him, right?
That's right.
Put the whammy out on him. I was watching Mestermaker, though. He wasn't rattled, and he pointed his finger at himself, knowing he owned it. sat down with his coaches and went over the play where he was aggressive and made that mistake. But I'll tell you what, this guy is a lot like his head coach, Eric Morris. They are aggressive. He's going to stay aggressive this entire game. And he's just looking to break down everything. He's a student of the game.
And Kark, unlike Mush, they're not going to put him in the bathroom for the interception. They set up the screen. Hawkins hurdled and upended. Third down and long.
Shot by Mac Harris. My goodness, he was going at it with the center for North Texas earlier, and then there kind of showing up in a big way. That's a way to show up on with Caleb Hawkins. You show up, you wrap up, and that's a big-time hit.
USF showing blitz.
You got to convert here if you're North Texas, and UCF will get some pretty good field position if they hold up.
They rush forward with a twist. Estemaker, high throw brought in by Wyatt Young, the sophomore from Katy, Texas.
He catches everything. It's a guy that has stickum on his gloves that they've ruled that out way back a long time ago, but that's how good his hands are.
And that time, another completion inside the 40. It's Miles Coleman, Estemaker's former high school teammate. How about the pocket presence, Andre, of the redshirt freshman?
And I tell you what, he can deal it, can he? Boy, it's pretty when it comes out of his hands. Just jumps off his hand.
Backpedaling, finds Hawkins on the check down. One broken tackle, and enough for a first down.
This is just flat out two really good football teams, and buckle up because we're gonna have it's a long way to the finish line for this one. Gonna be a lot of back and forth, and I got a feeling a lot of points are gonna be scored before this one's over.
Meanwhile, the crowd continues to fill up. An announced sellout, first time here at DATQ Stadium, which opened for football in 2011.
You'll claim that, won't you? Not the interceptions, but you'll claim the attendance.
Claim the sellout. McGill, straight up the gut. Touchdown, Mean Green.
"15 career rushing touchdowns in 19 career games is Mackenzie McGill." And I'll tell you what, the speed, he's the lightning in this operation for North Texas. Hits it in a hurry, enough speed to propel himself into the end zone.
Kalianguma puts it through. 14-7, Mackenzie McGill, a former walk-on. His quarterback, Drew Mestemaker, a former walk-on.
And you know what it does? Puts a lot of pressure on the visiting team to come down and repeat or keep pace. So let's see what Byron Brown and South Florida has in store once we kick this baby off.
There was also a sense around this program in this game to make it feel big on campus.
Oh, yeah. It
Classes
does.
canceled at
Definitely.
noon. A blackout. The students were here early. Everybody else has been filing in. Last time out, their last home game, they had a paltry crowd.
Yeah.
The section that you see on TV, that was almost empty.
Yeah.
They had an announced crowd of about 15,000 plus. It was about half that.
Tell you how big this game is. Close friend of mine, Sam Golden, he and his wife, they drove in from Houston. His two daughters, scholarship athletes on the golf team, Jana and Jacqueline. So this is huge, huge. When Sam Golden shows up, you know it's a big game.
Isaac stood up at the 20. South Florida coming in nationally ranked. North Texas off to its best start since before the moon landing. And it's just an appetizer for Saturday. In the SEC, Missouri is undefeated. Eli Drinkwitz and the Tigers have never beaten Alabama since Missouri joined the SEC.
Got them coming to their house, though.
And then Oklahoma And Texas, Andre, a chance John Mateer could return.
Yeah, just down the road in the Cotton Bowl. That one half and half. Half OU, half University of Texas. That'll be a good one, as well as Georgia and Auburn to round things out tomorrow evening.
2 turnovers in the opening quarter for South Florida. Off play action. Brown lets it fly. And it's picked off. Colin Lewis, second pick of the year. The 3rd turnover by USF. And that takes us to the end of quarter number 1.
Don't usually see Byron Brown force throws like this, but tight coverage on the back end by North Texas, their 3rd Anise turnover here in the first quarter.
Coach, when you go in that huddle, what are you going to tell your team about those turnovers?
We just got to settle down, just keep playing the next play. I mean, there's 3 of them, right, which is as uncharacteristic as you can get. We just got to settle down, be just fine, but we obviously can't turn it over like that.
What's the best way to disrupt their offense?
Well, you got to affect the quarterback, and we've gotten close. We obviously had the 1 turnover, but you got to affect his timing and his rhythm. When he's got time to sit back there, you got problems.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Now the turnovers, 3 of them in the opening quarter for USF. 7 turnovers for South Florida in the last 5 quarters. They had 4 in the win against Charlotte, able to overcome it, but tough road environment tonight.
How's the center, Tayanta? How does he fall start? He's the guy snapping the ball. We got another one.
False start. Offense, number 3, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Simeon Evans, the wide receiver. So the last time out, North Texas could not take advantage of the turnover.
Yeah.
Now off of this turnover, you're backed up. It's 1st and 20.
And it's been tough for South Florida the last couple of games. Last 5 quarters, 7 turnovers in their last 5 quarters.
McGill cut down in the backfield by Jarvis Lee, the nickel, a loss of 5. So 2 false starts and a 5-yard loss.
Yeah, excellent penetration by Jarvis Lee. And you got to tackle in space, which is one of the things that this South Florida defense, Todd Orlando, their defensive coordinator, they have to tackle in space because you're going to get some crazy, exotic formations. You're going to be one-on-one in a lot of them.
Backside pressure, middle screen, brought in by Trey Williams, who was the top receiving tight end at Division II Limestone last year.
You got to finish when you're in space. Already now 3rd down and North Dallas here for North Texas. It's a long way to go, and there's not a play in the playbook that bails you out. The only thing that really usually bails you out in this situation is if the defense creates or commits a penalty of some sort that gives you an automatic first down.
Great book, by the way, and movie, North Dallas 40. 3rd down. Maker incomplete for Wyatt Young. It's 4th down, so 2 of the South Florida turnovers, no harm, no foul. North Texas unable to capitalize.
And some of it self-inflicted. The 2 false starts, that's tough. And then you had the negative yardage run by McGill.
The Bulls have blocked a punt in back-to-back games. North Texas comes into this game off a bye. South Florida played last Friday against Charlotte. Evans kicks it away. Isaac from the 7. Pinballs his way to the 24. 49-yard punt, 16-yard return. South Florida with the ball and a chance to tie.
Welcome back to beautiful Denton, Texas, and I'm joined by Jared Mosley, who's the UNT Director of Athletics. This is an incredible scene. How would you describe this?
Hey, it's electric. It's awesome to be able to have 12,000 students for our season ticket holders, fans, donors, to have our first sellout on the nationally televised ESPN broadcast. You couldn't ask for more tonight.
It's a sellout, it's a blackout, and the students got out of school today at 12 noon so they could start tailgating. What was the genesis behind that decision?
You know, our president's been extremely supportive of our program, and you know, a couple weeks ago he's like, hey, I think it'd be a good idea to let students have a little bit of time to go have some fun before this game, and obviously he did a nice little note, went viral, and it's been fantastic.
I know you love watching this team, but systematically, what do you enjoy most about Eric Morris and the way they play?
I just love the tenacity of this group. Like, we've got a high-powered offense. We finally have a defense you can see turns people over. Great combination when you're trying to win football games. So just really excited for these guys and this opportunity.
Thank you for having us here tonight. It's an amazing scene, and you guys are doing incredible work at UNT.
Hey, appreciate it. Go Me Green.
Anish, Andre, he's
catch.
6'8" too. I'm not that small.
No, he's a big guy, and you know, for us, we do a lot of these games. We go all over the country.
This is great.
And you can start to sense a school, a university, and a fan base getting behind its team, which is having a lot of success. Fun to see on a Friday night. Franklin trying to break tackles, got a yard. It's 3rd down. And for South Florida, listen, Andre, in a lot of ways, they've been taken off the hook. 3 turnovers.
Yeah. And 2 of them that didn't lead to any points. Obviously, the first led to a touchdown, but they've kind of, you know, dodged harm's way, so to speak, and decent field position in which to start this drive. They can get themselves right back in this ball game.
4 defensive ends for North Texas. They call it the NASCAR package. First-year D coordinator Skylar Cassidy coming from Sam Houston State. Brown with time and an open receiver. First down catch by the tight end Wyatt Sullivan, 10th catch of the year.
Yeah, he can really stretch the field. More of a complete tight end, solid blocking tight end, as well as a good route runner, and he's got really good hands as well. So Coach Golesh was telling us he is everything you want in a tight end.
Franklin navigates the middle for 4.
Right on the football, ready to run the next play.
Wasting no time. Quick throw, pitch and catch. Nimrod cannot shake Armstead, but able to pick up a first. Chaz Nimrod came into the game averaging better than 22 yards per catch, which ranks 5th amongst all receivers who have at least 15 catches.
Excellent downfield threat, and that's when they want to dial one up. That's where Byron Brown, that's where he's going with the football.
A transfer from Tennessee, where Alex Golesh coached. They go right back to Nimrod. Picks up 4.
I mean, they are on the move. Got a golden opportunity right here to maybe put some more points on the board. Get back in this thing.
Brown takes a shot, has a man, and he overthrew Joshua Porter. What does this do to a defense, this kind of tempo?
It wears you down, and it forces you to stay in the personnel that you're in on the field. So you can't substitute, and then you have a built-in package of plays that you like against that personnel grouping. As well, you get defensive linemen, when you're pass rushing down after down after down, then all of a sudden you get hit with a run underneath because you're firing up the field. Makes it tough on you, and it wears down your defensive line.
Let's see if they go run here on 3rd and 6. They'll throw. Now Brown will take off. And that's why he's so hard to bring down.
Nothing
First
to
down.
it. Nobody open. Just take matters into his own hands and run for the first down. He is so tough to bring down because he's so big and so powerful.
Off the zone read, it's the give to Franklin. Sam Franklin spent last year at Oklahoma. Before that, was a finalist for the Walter Payton Award at UT Martin. That's the FCS Player of the Year. Brown wants a 6. Caught for a touchdown. Jeremiah Coger, who made a big splash last week. And USF, despite the 3 first-quarter turnovers, a PAT from tying this game.
He just went up and took it. He wanted it more than the defender to that side. It looked like it was Colin Lewis, who he just high-pointed. 6'3", 209, just climbed the ladder and just snatched that baby out of the air.
Grammatica's PAT is good. 12 plays, 76 yards, and a little less than 4 minutes.
Just a nice throw to the corner of the end zone, and we are all tied at 14 apiece.
USF wide receiver Christian Helms is our Friday night spotlight. Christian's a former walk-on and will receive his 3rd degree this fall. He plays for his dad, Chris, who's been fighting kidney failure since 2022 and waiting for an organ donation. Chris has also had 3 brain surgeries caused by complications of failing kidneys and currently completes 8 to 10 hours of dialysis at home daily. Christian is building awareness as an NIL deal promoting LifeLink of Florida, a nonprofit that promotes organ and tissue donation. His dad's been able to attend a ton of his home games, and Christian told me he's never complained. Keep swinging, his dad has taught him, in life and on the football field. And Chris, we're thinking of you tonight.
Great stuff, Paul, and it's a young man whose story you can get behind. Drew Mestemaker, the quarterback for North Texas. We mentioned he never started a game as a varsity quarterback in high school as you look at the stat comparison. But the signs were there last year, Andre.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both by the defense. Pass interference, defense, number 1. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 63. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
Boy, the big penalty there for North Texas. And this is going to give them even better field position than what started this drive.
We apologize for some audio difficulties. The fake to Hawkins off the RPO. Another catch by Dorner. His 4th already. A gain of 13.
I know what you like about Mestemaker is his ability to change gears with his throws. Get into that a little more after this one.
A lot of contact. Is that ball catchable? The flag is down. Ben Knox in coverage on Landon Sides.
Pass interference, defense, number 1. 15-yard penalty, first down.
It looked as though Knox kind of ridden him out of bounds. Looking back, but he's still riding the intended receiver out of bounds, and so that's where it comes up sides is the receiver that the intended receiver there. So it's 2 big penalties, and already North Texas threatening another score here.
I think Alex Golesh is.
Yeah, he's wanting an uncatchable ball that was thrown well over the head of sides.
And out of bounds. Hawkins to the 26. Let's bring in Matt Austin, our rules analyst. Matt, would you have picked up the flag there?
Yeah, I think I would. If the ball landed, it looked like halfway between the white and the limit line. So I don't think there's any way that ball could have been catchable.
Sideline warning. Penalty. South Florida.
Yeah, you mix the turnovers in with the penalty yards. Lucky to be tied up during the first half. Always good to hear Matt's voice on a Friday night.
Part of the Friday night family. Second and 4. Hawkins gets tangled after a short gain. 3rd down, likely 4-down territory.
And he's kind of loading the box right now, South Florida. They're expecting run on the early down, so they are loading up inside. 7 in the box there. Kind of gives you numbers when you empty things out and it's just 5 linemen in a back. You're going to have an extra defender to defend against the run. He did a nice job there.
A revamped defensive front, and D coordinator Todd Orlando feels they hit on quite a few on the D-line in the transfer portal.
That's the difference in the defense this year.
Pressure coming. Nestemaker gets rid of it and completes for a 1st down. His old high school teammate at Vandergrift, Miles Coleman.
Boy, it comes from an unorthodox spot. Not the classic delivery. It's around his waist. But man, is he accurate with it when he decides to pull it back and let it go.
Middle pressure. That ball batted down, incomplete.
And I would imagine there's going to be a lot of those throughout the game because of where the release point is for Drew Nestemaker. It literally, at times, it's around his waist. You see right here the left tackle.
Jacob Merrifield got his hand on it.
He's a captain, was a captain at FAU before transferring to South Florida.
Hawkins breaks the initial tackle.
One of those backs, he's so strong and so big. Every time he's contacted, his body still goes forward. Might be a delay, but he's going to fall forward each and every time he carries the football.
Freshman out of Shawnee, Oklahoma.
A lot of schools between here and there, and well, they hit it big when they got him to sign here.
Five-man pressure. Nestemaker underneath. And Wyatt Young is going to be about a yard shy of the line to gain.
You can just see him processing. You can see him going through his reads as he looks left, scans the field, comes back right, and the ball, he's ready to let it go at any point in time.
4th down. Offense out in the field.
Just give it to the big 6'2", 200-pound back. The true freshman in Caleb Hawkins here.
Now Nestemaker goes wide. We'll go Wildcat here with Wyatt Young, who was a high school quarterback. Young keeps it. Opening. Touchdown, North Texas.
Just when you think you have North Texas figured out, Eric Morris, Jordan Davis, they dial up something different. Motion Nestemaker out. Wyatt Young takes the direct snap. And all that momentum, no doubt, he was going to get himself into the end zone. Well designed and better executed.
A lot of pre-snap eye candy. A field trip to Amsterdam before Wyatt Young runs it in. The PAT by Onguma is good.
Well, you're going to get a lot of people flowing with Hawkins. And it's Wyatt Young taking advantage of the pursuit of the defense, almost untouched into the end zone. A lot of eye candy here. Drew Mestemaker, he's going to motion out. Then the read for Wyatt Young's going to be those three on the edge. They're already outside, so he knows right now, just taking a look, that he's going to keep the football. Once everything gets itself started, he knows he's keeping it. He gets an excellent block from his right guard, Johnny Dixon III, and that's what got Wyatt Young into the end zone. It was a well-executed play, but the play call in that instance, where everybody in this stadium is thinking Hawkins on 4th and short, they pull the okey-doke.
Alex Golish's team, as battle-tested as anyone in the country, opened this season with ranked wins against Boise State and Florida. Lone loss coming to Miami, the #2 team in the country. Byron Brown able to find an open receiver.
It's a great job by Keyshawn Singleton of coming back to the football. Just continuing to work back to give Brown a target.
Isaac caroms off a defender for a first down. Brown under pressure, hit, and down he goes. The sack by big Sadiq Clements.
Boy, and he just kind of comes free. 3-star player out of high school, but he does a heck of a job of tackling the arm of Byron Brown. You can't go to the left side of him because he's so big and so strong, he can still throw it away. But when you tackle him on the right side where his arm is, that's a heck of a job there as well.
And Clements again detonates another play in the backfield. 3rd and long. Remember, North Texas is without Fadafehi Vailea, one of their best interior D linemen and a team captain. And Clements stepping up on this drive.
In a major way, a sophomore out of Kentucky, Henderson, Kentucky.
A little screen. It doesn't go very far. No gain on the play. Patrick Smith-Young, who's back at UNT after spending last season at ODU with the tackle on Isaac.
They've got so much depth at safety. Evan Jackson, Julian Knox, Will Jones, whose name you already called, and then, of course, Patrick Smith-Young. Force a punt here.
Chase Leon, averaging 46 yards a punt. Tops in the American. The 5'6" Miles Coleman lets it bounce. It'll be down at the 26-yard line. We alluded to it earlier. Eric Morris developing a reputation as QB whisperer.
Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes. Two pretty good ones there, but he didn't stop. He went to #1 pick Cam Ward, and then John Mateer. Look forward to seeing him tomorrow at OU Texas game, and then obviously Chandler Morris, who pulled a big upset against #7 Florida State. He's now wearing a Virginia Cavalier uniform.
And Mestemaker looks to be a budding star. He walked onto the team last year, and that's where the signs were evident. He might be something. Beat out 5 other guys to be Chandler Morris's backup.
You don't get very many 6'4" walk-ons at that position, do you?
Quick throw to the perimeter, and that's caught by Dorner.
He can spin it, Anish. I mean, that's on a rope, on an out route, deep out route along the sideline, and it is right in rhythm.
Once Chandler Morris opted out and hit the portal, Mestemaker went on scholarship. Got the start in the bowl game last year. All he did was throw for 393 yards and then run for a touchdown. And then won the job in the offseason. That's another strike, but he missed Dorner that time, 2nd and 10.
Tell you what, even in a miss, it was placed properly right in front of Dorner. Just he throws a catchable ball, and by that, I mean it's easy to catch a tight spiral for most receivers, and it's not overpowering. It's coming at the right speed. You catch one that's wobbling all the time. Those are tough balls to catch.
McGill sets up 3rd down. Eric Morris told us the story that he had a good friend of his who happens to be Patrick Mahomes' QB coach reach out and said, hey, you got to look at this kid, Mestemaker. And Eric Morris says, okay, send me some tape. He goes, no, there's no tape. You got to come watch him throw.
9th grade tape.
And they watched one throw and they said, okay, we'll take him. Yeah. And he came on as a walk-on.
Just kept working and kept working, earned the respect of his teammates, and he is he's going to be something else here.
Nickel blitz from South Florida. Mestemaker runs. That was DM sliding, not the other way around. DM Drew Mestemaker sliding for a 1st down.
Showing you another part of his game that goes underrated. Being able, when everything is covered on the back end, can avoid traffic in the pocket and still make and pick up a 1st down with his legs.
2-minute timeout.
We have reached the 2-minute timeout in Denton. North Texas driving and with the lead.
I want to know if EJ's ever heard of a story like that where a guy didn't play or take a varsity snap and end up starting in college.
Not just starting, thriving, although that throw was ill-timed and it's picked off. Jonas Duclona, 1st pick of the season, the Wisconsin transfer.
Try to force that one in. And unfortunately, there was still real estate along the sideline for that interception to happen. Just didn't really step into the throw. Just didn't make a lot of bad decisions, but that was a bad decision. 2 receivers in one area. I know that was not drawn up like that by Eric Morris.
2 interceptions tonight for Mestemaker. He had not thrown one entering play. And this is a pivot point in the game. South Florida, they can score fast. 1:52 on the clock, and the Bulls get the ball to begin the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, they had to burn one early, but the 2 timeouts, and they've got a ton of time as fast as they go. That's like having half a quarter to a team like South Florida.
Even backed up, 2 timeouts, plenty for this Sonic speed offense. Neptune hauls it in. He gets it up for a 1st, so that momentarily stops the clock.
Well, it's a nice mix of...
The clock is still running. That should stop the clock under 2 minutes. They need to reset the clock.
Yeah, they're going to jump right on that right now.
At least 10 seconds ticked off.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute and 44 seconds. Put the 25-second, the play clock at 25 seconds. Both will start on my signal.
That's a nice mix of experience and youth. A couple of young players, and Jeremiah Koger as well as Neptune making plays as true freshmen, and then you got Nimrod as a senior that has stepped up as well.
Designed QB run for a game of 3. Now the clock will continue to run.
Keep in mind, they have the 2 timeouts. They can stop it whenever they want. They don't want to leave North Texas anytime.
Against a 3-man rush. Brown will take off. Defended well by North Texas. 3rd down. Clock continues to run with 1:10. Bulls not using one of their 2 timeouts.
I thought for sure when he pulled that one down that Coach Golesh would spend one of those 2 timeouts.
Now we're under a minute. Brown launches incomplete for Singleton.
Yeah.
Broken up by Fisher. It's 4th down.
And especially at that point in the game when you need to get settled down and you don't want to rush to the line of scrimmage on 3rd down, and then you throw an incomplete pass and all of a sudden you got to punt it back. Now North Texas with 3 timeouts has more than enough time to put together a drive. And this is almost like a bonus possession for the Mean Green, where you got the first kickoff. It's 51 seconds and 3 timeouts. You're just looking for a field goal here to steal a possession and maybe steal some points right before halftime.
Good punt by Leon. Muffed. South Florida says they have it, and they do. Turnover city in this opening half. 3 by both teams.
Miles Coleman couldn't really get himself under that one.
The receiving team, recovered by the kicking team.
And it's indeed South Florida's football. Now you want to slow this thing down, and I'm anxious to see just how they operate with Byron Brown and this Bulls offense based on where they are.
Cedric Hawkins recovered the muffed punt. And North Texas will begin now in the red zone at the 17-yard line.
Because you don't want to score too quick, do you? And I guess you worry about that after you've scored, but there are 3 timeouts, and you don't want to leave a lot of time on the clock for North Texas.
Well, they say South Florida ball. So South Florida will go here from the red zone. Byron Brown to the outside. And we get a timeout now.
Timeout, South Florida. That's their second. It'll be 30 seconds.
Kickoff week 6 of the NFL with NFL Sunday Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the app. And then 2 Monday night games. You've got the Bills and Falcons. Buffalo had the setback against New England on Sunday night. Bears, Commanders, a couple of Heisman Trophy winning QBs and Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. Josh Allen, 24 passing touchdowns, tied for 3rd most in his first 10 Monday night starts. So, sloppy first half by both teams, and that 3rd North Texas turnover gives South Florida the ball inside the 20. 1 play later, they're inside the 10.
A chance to tie this thing up right before the half, and getting the ball first to start the second half would be the Bulls. So this is the ultimate double dip.
2nd and 1. 1 timeout remaining. USF has scored.
There's a problem with the line to gain chain. We're swapping those chains out.
USF has scored 7 touchdowns in its last 7 red zone opportunities. And here's the advantage of having a quarterback like Byron Brown.
Yeah, you can't really play man-to-man down here, because if you turn and run with receivers, he is going to take off with the football. Now they spy Trey Fields, their linebacker. He will have eyes on Byron Brown, but I don't know if a guy 6 foot 212 is going to bring Byron Brown down by himself.
Byron Brown tonight has run for a score and thrown for a touchdown. Quarterback run. First and goal. That momentarily stops the clock with 27 seconds.
I think it was a corner. David Fisher just got in and got a shoelace.
Right back to Brown. He is to about the 2. Second and goal. The clock continues to run. They've got the 1 timeout.
Yeah, and I would take it rather than trying to rush through this process.
Brown keeps it again. Hit. Clock still running. Now it's stopped with 4 seconds. Timeout by South Florida. You kick it here, Andre?
Timeout.
Yeah, I think
South
you have
Florida.
to, because you don't want to come away with no points, and especially getting the ball first to start the second half. I thought it was a missed opportunity after the previous down where you take the timeout, set yourself up, or at least talk about what's the best play for this situation. You can take a shot towards the end zone and then still come back if it's an incomplete pass and kick the field goal.
Instead, they may have lost a play doing so.
Exactly right.
So now you have to kick, likely on 3rd and goal. 5 seconds. They added a second. Does that give this offense enough time for one quick play, one quick throw to the end zone?
It better be on the edges and out of bounds quickly, like a catch and throw. And you got to remind every receiver, hey, don't make a move. If you're in the end zone, obviously it's a touchdown, but you can't run and come up short.
Offense comes out, 3rd and goal, 5 seconds. Does Alex Golesh have the gumption to call a run play here, or is this...
Where's Nimrod? Out wide left.
Almost definitely a pass. No timeouts, and now North Texas says, we want to talk.
Timeout, North Texas. That's their first. It'll be 30 seconds.
Nimrod, who is 6'2". Koger, who's already caught a touchdown pass, 6'3". Those are the 2 guys I would put on the edges, and then based on how the safeties are sitting is the side I'm going to go to. If they're favoring one side, I'm going opposite where the rotation is going to take place, and it's coming out in a hurry. It's a catch and fire.
I was just going to ask you, as a QB, walk me through the clock in your head as soon as you get the ball.
Yeah, and that's what they're talking about. Coach Golesh is talking about right now with Byron Brown. You don't have time to catch, read it out, and then with 5 seconds, go somewhere with the football. You have to have your mind, and you usually tell quarterbacks, don't predetermine where you're going. In this situation, you predetermine where you're going because the clock calls for it.
Now if you're North Texas,
but you can do it strategically based on where he's coming left. That's why they're so wide. Maybe a slot fade or a fade stop to Nimrod.
They move the pocket, a floater to the end zone. Touchdown, Jonathan Eccles.
But what a play call.
With 2 seconds to spare.
What a play call. I mean, everybody's thinking Nimrod, Koger out left, and even to run the play action with it, showing it and putting it in the belly of the running back, that eats up some time. So if this is an incompleted pass, I got to believe that time expires.
How about Eccles? That's his 6th career reception.
Or close.
3rd receiving touchdown. Gramatica ties the game at 21. So a first half with 3 turnovers by each team, some wild momentum swings.
Yeah, all the eye candy is sitting outside, so everybody thinks they're far removed from it. Now you're just going to get a nice little corner route off play action. Stick it in the belly. He pretends to block down, and wide open is Eccles. That's a pretty play. Well designed, and that's why you take the time out to kind of design or talk those things over. What's our best play in our back pocket? Well, we've had some first half. It's been filled with touchdowns and turnovers.
That's right. That's your Texas two-step. South Florida gets the ball to begin the third quarter. And the difference in this first half, USF, 2 touchdowns off turnovers. North Texas, only 1 touchdown off of the 3 South Florida turnovers. Squib kick takes us to halftime in Denton. South Florida 21, North Texas 21. Time to get you to the studio for the Twisted Tea halftime report. Zubin. PN, Katy Perry's Firework played while fireworks went off here at DATQ Stadium in Denton. And Ashraf, Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra will be with us in a moment. Story in the first half, there were fireworks.
Yeah.
Some good, some bad. Turnovers and touchdowns.
Turnovers and touchdowns were the story of the first half. And, you know, both teams, 3 turnovers each, is why we are exactly where we are in this game. But let's go back and take a look. It starts with Byron Brown, the fumble to start it. That led to a North Texas touchdown. Then hadn't thrown an interception all season long. Drew Mestermaker throws it. Then all of a sudden, Wyatt Young, he gets himself into the end zone. And then the TD pass at the end of the first half to Eccles to knot this thing up. South Florida going to get it first and hopefully play a little cleaner brand of football from both sidelines.
And we check in with Paul Carcaterra.
Self-inflicted craziness. That's how Alex Golesh described the first half to me. Anish and Andre, he said there wasn't much he had to tell his team in the locker room because they're running the ball, they're converting on third down, they're finding seams in the pass game. They're just turning the ball over way too much, to 3 turnovers. So he feels confident. If they can take care of the ball, they can win this game without question. He said defensively, though, they have to wrap up on Mestermaker. They haven't finished tackles on him.
40% of South Florida's offense has been Byron Brown running.
73 rushing yards. He'll throw on the very first play in the bubble screen to Singleton. Results in a big gain all the way out to the 43-yard line, a pickup of 18. Keyshawn Singleton really came on the second half of last season. And now tempo's activated. Pitch and catch. Nimrod sheds a tackle. Wrestled down by Hammonds at the 31-yard line, a gain of 27 more.
Well, what I like from both receivers, Nimrod as well as Singleton, the play before, no hesitation. Just get up the field, get vertical in a hurry.
Davenport inside the 30. Davenport, Isaac, and Franklin getting the carries today. No Cartavius Norton, who is part of the USF running back rotation, and that's their top wide receiver, Chaz Nimrod. Tennessee transfer, had a big game against Miami.
An electric player that he is a downfield threat every time he gets it. That last pass that he caught, just not sure if he's cramping up or what. But never good. This is the play before. A little hitch route to the outside, and he got up slowly just to get himself aligned, but then after that second play, he is still down.
4 catches, 45 yards. for Chaz Nimrod, second in the American in receiving yards entering play. And he had the attention of this North Texas defensive staff. Skylar Cassidy told us he's the best wide receiver we've played to date.
North Texas told us this was the best team that they faced so far on their schedule. South Florida. And they are somewhat battle tested when you look at the wins over Boise and Florida to start the season. The only blemish on the schedule is to number 2 Miami.
That's why this is such an event in Denton. Sellout crowd, blackout. South Florida and North Texas vying for control of the American, which in 2025, it very much feels like the champion in the American will be the Group of 5 college football playoff representative.
And Jaquan Smith checking himself in for Nimrod.
He's got speed. Neptune gets it on the end around. He'll throw. Singleton is open. Makes the catch. Touchdown, South Florida.
Boy, the play calling in this game has been outstanding so far. When you go to Eccles before the end of the half with 5 seconds left, and then this one, all of a sudden you get an end around by Neptune, who puts it up in the corner of the end zone, and just enough extension by Singleton to get into the end zone for a touchdown. Well, that was on the money too. Neptune have a little quarterback in his background.
Gramatica puts it through, and South Florida leads for the first time tonight. South Florida leads for the first time tonight, 28-21. Little trickeration. Neptune, the receiver, to Singleton on a wide receiver pass.
I mean, it was on the money. One of the better thrown passes in this game tonight. Let's go back and take a look at that pass from Neptune to Singleton. Singleton's going to come down as if he's going to block the safety and then go back to the corner. Neptune on a end around and then just drawing everybody up. Singleton's wide open behind coverage. Well thrown football, and then he finishes everything off. But a nice job here, kind of making it look like an end around and a run, but dropping it right between the 2 ones on the jersey of Singleton. Now, Anise, the pressure on the guys in the black unis.
Trailing for the first time tonight. Drew Mestamaker's thrown his first 2 interceptions of the season tonight. That one's dropped. Simeon Evans, who had 50 catches with Sam Houston last year. There's also a feeling that's got to be pervading the North Texas sideline. You had some chances early in this game, Andre, to put USF in a hole and didn't take advantage.
A couple of turnovers they did after the first one, but then all of a sudden the second and third turnover, unable to take advantage of it, and that allowed South Florida to hang around a little bit, and now they have the lead in this one.
Hawkins has largely been held in check tonight. Picks up 4 to set up a 3rd and 6.
Kind of went away from Hawkins, though. I mean, he was doing his thing and running the ball with authority. Went away from him, got pass happy a little bit, and I think after the second Drew Mestamaker interception, they have revisited going back to Caleb Hawkins.
Mestamaker, that's intercepted. His 3rd pick of the night. Fred Gaskin. 2nd career pick for Gaskin, who was one of the highest rated recruits in USF history, had offers from the likes of Bama, Florida State, Miami, Penn State.
Boy, I just don't like where Mestelmaker holds the ball. And it's down around his waist. So if you can't really follow through, it's going to sail on you at times. And that's what's happened on a couple of
previous play is
interceptions that he's had.
Possible targeting.
In this one. That one a clear reason as to why the ball sails on. That ball's around his waist. He's going to have a lot of them batted down. If not batted down, they're going to sail as it did there.
And now we have a booth-initiated targeting review. Let's bring in Matt Austin, our rules analyst. All aspects of targeting need to be confirmed. Matt, what do you see?
Yeah, Nish, I mean, he is a defensive player since he's the quarterback in a passing posture, but this hit looks like it's squarely in the chest to me. There might have been a little contact with the helmet, but most of the contact is right in the chest, so I would not expect this to be called targeting.
I agree with Matt there. I get you're trying to protect the quarterback.
And one thing to remember, right, if you look at crown of the helmet,
right,
that does not include the side of the helmet. Not anymore. And Matt, did you see an indicator there of targeting?
Well, he came in high. He was attacking with force, but no, I don't think he went high. So, as I said before, I really don't think this should be targeting.
I'm more concerned about the psyche of Mestelmaker after, you know, a couple of interceptions in this game, and how do you come back, a guy that hasn't played a lot of football in his past, and now all of a sudden he is the starter, and you've made a few mistakes. It's easy to play the position when you're throwing 11 touchdowns and you haven't had a blemish in the other category. How do you react when you've thrown the third one and you come back from it? Because he's never really had to.
The crowd continues to ooh and ah as they show it on the big screen.
After review, there is no foul for targeting. First down, South Florida.
All right, they're going to have excellent field position again in which to start this drive, Anish. South Florida already inside the red zone of North Texas.
Still no Nimrod out there for South Florida. Got a lot of Byron Brown tonight. 73 rushing yards.
I would expect even more of Byron Brown when you get down inside the red zone here. Spread them out and run the big fella.
Sullivan, the tight end, in motion. Long throw to the sideline. Jaquan Smith, the speedster. North Texas trying to rip it out. Play whistle dead, a gain of 5.
USF now down 2 of their best receivers. Chaz Nimrod went to the locker room moments ago. I'll get back to you in a second, Ish.
Franklin, touchdown.
Well, just a poor job of tackling there. And it allowed Franklin to kind of just bounce off a defender into the end zone. Just not wrapping up at the point of attack. You're there. You're on the field to tackle, not spectate.
Meanwhile, Nimrod walking to the locker room. That's South Florida's top receiver. PAT good by Gramatica. South Florida has now scored 9 touchdowns in its last 9 red zone opportunities. They lead by 2 scores, largest lead of the night for the Bulls. As to who's the team to beat in college football.
Yeah, I still don't know, to be quite honest. There are a bunch of good ones out there, and I think the Hurricanes in Miami might be playing as good as anybody. Oregon as well. Oh my goodness, that would be some matchup if those two got to the finish line and faced off for that trophy.
And all Ohio State has done is win. The defending champs. This game's turned quickly in the span of about 2.5 minutes. South Florida has scored 21 points. If you go back to the end of the second quarter, a muffed punt late in the first half gave South Florida an opening. That was the game-tying touchdown, and then 2 quick scores in the second half.
Yeah, minute 9 off the clock to start the second half before they get right into the end zone with Sam Franklin. So you look at it, 3 or 4 times South Florida has scored off turnovers. Only once for North Texas. That's the difference in the scoreboard right now.
Mestamaker's thrown 3 picks. Low throw dropped by Evans. That's 2 drops now for Evans. 2nd and 10.
He is a big-time weapon. Just got to get him started. It's outstanding at Sam Houston.
Hawkins goes wide. Quick slant off the hands of Terrence Lewis. 3rd and 10. Andre, I know you're down by 14. A lot of time left. South Florida plays fast. You don't have to abandon the run, do you, if you're North Texas?
And I thought that's where I was going the possession before with Hawkins. I thought they would get back to running him more. They're averaging somewhere around 5 yards a carry. You know, let him work you back into this game. Put a couple of good plays together and a nice drive. Get a score and get back in this game.
This one is hauled in, and it's going to be enough for a first down. Miles Coleman, who came in as the team's top receiver.
Started a couple of games as a true freshman last year. He's a stud. Young, dynamic player for North Texas.
One high safety look for South Florida.
Well, it's telling you the outside. He's got one-on-one coverage down at the bottom with Simeon Evans. And the safety's way over favoring the other hash. Now they're going to change the look up.
On the shallow cross, that ball is knocked out. Live ball, it's picked up by Schuler. He's looking back. Almost got caught, and now into the end zone, we get a flag. Hold on. Landon Sides almost punched it away.
Taunting there, and I'm wondering if they're going to get him for celebrating before he got into the end zone.
Now, they may also look at this to see if it was a fumble or an incomplete pass. All plays are reviewed, so the booth probably looking at that right now. Let's bring in Matt Austin after this announcement.
The ruling on the field is a catch and a fumble return for a touchdown. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. South Florida, number 7. Now South Florida, number 7. That's his first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. That foul will be assessed on the kickoff.
All right, Matt, a lot to unpack here. First, let's go back to the catch.
Yeah, I think the ruling of a catch.
Was this a catch? That's where all this starts.
Yes, I think it is. He definitely firmly controls the ball, gets the body part down, takes about 3 steps, tucks the ball away. That's definitely a catch, followed by a fumble. Now, it's interesting on the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, because if they called taunting for what he was doing before he crossed the goal line, they could have easily marked that off from the spot of the foul and gone back to the 15-yard line.
And erase the score. I remember a long time ago when they first instituted that rule, Cordero Patterson was basically called him for high stepping into the end zone. I thought he was trying to avoid a defender closing from inside out. They took the score off the board, and hence my relationship with the head of officials. So I thought if there was a case for that rule, that would have been it.
Meanwhile, Lofton is down for South Florida. So the taunting flag was thrown after Schuler crossed the goal line, which means touchdown, and then the penalty. Had it happened in the field of play,
he was in the field of play when he looked back.
Right, and that could have been called in the field of play right there. And if you call that in the field of play, it wipes the touchdown off the board.
I think maybe he's calling it with a point right there, but
right there,
there was taunting way before that. That act that I thought should have taken that score off the board. Let's take another look at Schuler, Jalen Schuler here. As he picks it up. I think the intent was certainly there.
And I don't think Landon Sides took too kindly to the way Jalen Schuler moseyed
and
to
rightfully
the goal
so.
line. Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Meanwhile, Mike Lofton is still down, one of the offensive linemen for South Florida, injured on the PAT attempt. We'll step aside with 11:35 to go. 28 unanswered by South Florida. Helped off the field after going down on the PAT. South Florida has scored 28 points in the last 3.5 minutes of game time, going back to the end of the second quarter.
They didn't just double dip, they have quadruple dipped.
They Costanza, they dipped, yes. They took a bite, and they dipped again. North Texas tonight with 5 turnovers, 3 all season entering play. Saturday, it's SEC football on ABC. We've got a triple header. Alabama going to Como to take on undefeated Missouri. They've got the Red River rivalry
just down the road.
And then Georgia going to the Plains to take on Auburn. Big spot for Eli Drinkwitz and Missouri. He hasn't beaten Alabama. Missouri hasn't beaten Bama since joining the SEC.
That's a tough place to go win a football game, Columbia, Missouri.
Shakespeare Pizza, however, good spot. Not much there for Mackenzie McGill, maybe a yard. So tough spot for Mestemaker, who has thrown 3 picks tonight. The last possession ended with a fumble by Evans. That was returned by Schuler for a touchdown. And things escalated quickly for South Florida. 28 unanswered after they were down 21-7. Keep it on the ground. And not much there. Looked like he got tripped up, McGill. 3rd down.
It had been Ira Singleton, and he is an excellent pass rusher who looks the part, 6'5", 240. This staff loves what he brings. The sky is the limit for Ira Singleton.
They really like what they have on their front 7.
I often reference this, but he's the guy that you want getting off the bus first.
Mestemaker's throw is caught for a first down by Wyatt Young.
Just steady. That's what Wyatt Young is. It's just a steady receiver, excellent edge blocker, so he does the dirty work within the offense. And then when you throw it his way, most times he's going to come down with the football for you. But not afraid to put his face in and block for ball carriers.
Young now comes in motion. They set up the tunnel screen. The speedy Coleman. Can he get to the second level? Wow. He can take this to Timbuktu.
Just like that, here comes the mean green. Not a big guy at 5'6", 160 pounds. But all he did in high school was go for over 3,000 receiving yards and 40 touchdown catches in 3 years. You get him in space, little tunnel screen, the middle of the field was open, and nobody's going to track down Miles Coleman.
Lightning and a shot glass.
A nice touch on that tunnel screen by Mestemaker as well.
Nguma's PAT is good. A much needed counterpunch by North Texas.
Hey, don't go anywhere. We got a lot of time left.
A lot of time and two teams who can light up the scoreboard. Early on for South Florida, it was the turnovers that did the Bulls in. 3 of them in the opening quarter. North Texas was able to jump out to a 21-7 lead. South Florida tied it right before halftime. And then 21 quick points to open the third quarter to take the lead. North Texas answers back.
When you have the type of run that South Florida has gone on, 28 unanswered, now you got to start getting the ball in the playmakers' hands. Hawkins, Coleman, Wyatt Young, Sides. Those guys, they need to touch the football if you're North Texas to get you back in. But more importantly, your defense now. They've got a reason to be inspired going forward.
Andre, we have seen 35 points scored between the two teams in the last 5.5 minutes. That takes you back to 1989. Alvon Isaac is dropped shy of the 15.
This might be the worst starting position of the game for South Florida. Let's go back to Byron Brown tonight, getting himself into the end zone. His first score, and then he finds the big receiver on the outside, Coger, Jeremiah Coger. Then a little trickery with Eccles right before the half.
A young man who owns more than a half-dozen school records.
And there have been some pretty good ones to play that position at South Florida.
They'll hand it off on first down. Isaac had a big hole and a big ankle tackle to prevent a much larger gain.
And he was about to gather up a good head of steam as well.
Patrick Smith-Young
came into this game averaging just over 6 yards a carry.
Right back to Isaac. Cuts a jagged path for a first down.
And if you're South Florida, that's all you want to do from here to the house, is just continue to put drives together, first downs together, to move the chains. Not really looking to score in a hurry, but you'll certainly take the scores.
Brown loads up. Down the seam. Singleton cannot hold on. Fisher in coverage. No flag. And if you're wondering why they're going fast, they really don't have a second speed, which they like. Alex Golich told us when we go into our 4-minute offense, he goes like, our guys are looking around like, what are we doing?
He says even the offensive linemen, you think, well, they want to slow down. No, they're looking at the sideline like, what is this? Speed this baby up. Gotten themselves in great shape for this NASCAR-type speed in which they operate.
Keep it on the ground. Another nice run by Isaac for a first down, a gain of 11.
Well, they've got some really good backs. Isaac, Sam Franklin, and then Norton, who is out. He was kind of the the pace setter.
Brown takes another shot. Wide open Coger. Touchdown, South Florida. 63 yards. Jeremiah Coger. You like fireworks?
I do. Nice double move on the outside by Jeremiah Coger. Let's see him just give you the hitch and go. He really sells it to David Fisher, who bit hook, line, and sinker, and then the big fella just rumbling into the end zone. Eyes of the quarterback, Brown, holding the safety inside, so it's an easy throw for him with the route being run by Coger.
You know, back in the day, you'd turn on the TV at 2 a.m. and there would be a boxing fight that would be on from 20 years ago. It's kind of what it feels like we're watching right now, just haymakers being traded back and forth. We go. This was a 21-21 game at halftime.
Yeah.
Look at the score now.
It's crazy. Crazy. We told you, hang on, buckle up, because there would be some scoring in this game. 42 points in the last 6 minutes and 48 seconds.
Video game stuff. And most of it's been South Florida.
Taking full advantage of turnovers. And then double moves, little trickery. They brought it all to Texas tonight. But this North Texas team, they're battle tested. An overtime win against Western Michigan on the road, and then at Army, another overtime win. So it is a team that can fight its way back and make a game of this.
North Texas at 5-0. First time since 1959 they've started a season 5-0. There is a technicality to that. They technically were gifted a win due to a forfeit later on. So, but in terms of actual games played, they've never been 5-0 in a season since 1959.
A lot of pressure on the guy wearing that jersey, number 17.
Almost 200 yards of total offense here in the third quarter for South Florida. There's still 8 minutes plus on the clock. Estemaker hands it off. Schuler meets Hawkins after a gain of a yard. Those two middle linebackers, Schuler and Harris, the ringleaders, the best friends on that defense for South Florida, and a man down.
Merrifield's the player down. He was on the bottom of that. He got the legs of Hawkins. Not sure if he just had the wind knocked out of him or what, but he was under the bottom of that pile. He's played some game tonight.
Knocked down a pass early in the game.
Yeah.
Transfer from FAU,
where he was a captain on that team. I'm sorry. If I'm a captain somewhere, I'm not leaving. That's just me. I mean, all of a sudden you've earned the respect of your teammates. However, that's if it's the coaches, you have their respect. If it's the players that choose and vote on that, you have their respect.
Different day, different age.
It is. It is. Always searching for greener pastures. Literally.
We have coaches these days who tell us, you know, it used to be where in recruiting you lost a guy, especially if it was a close fought recruiting battle. There would be hard feelings at the end of it if the guy chose another program. Not anymore, because now if you're option 2, you might be option 1 when that player enters the portal.
When he decides to transfer. You're the first phone call, so you want to finish a close second.
And you think of the advantage that schools like in North Texas or USF have. You play in a talent-rich area.
Yeah.
There's always guys who want to come back home.
Yep. And there are a lot of them in the Dallas area.
Coleman feathers the sideline, And some nifty footwork to get to the 33-yard line.
Man, is he quick or what? Prototypical slot receiver, not a big guy, fits this somewhat air raid system to perfection.
5 catches, 93 yards for Miles Coleman. They go right back to him. And B buttons his way to the 41 for a first down.
And there's another defensive lineman down for South Florida.
Timeout for an injury to a member of the defense.
It's Richard Scott, part of a heavy defensive end rotation tonight, and holding that left leg.
They've already lost Merrifield. And then the guy checking in for him comes in and he gets hurt. And that's a coach that cares. Every injury that has occurred tonight, he has been out and on the field. Lets young men know that you care. They're trying to hydrate Richard Scott, hoping that it's just cramps.
Looks like they're working on that hamstring.
I'm not sure how much he's actually played tonight, but coming in the game from Merrifield, and then all of a sudden you're called to duty, you got to make sure you're stretched out, ready to go at all times, no matter if you've played a bunch of snaps or that's your first one.
Able to walk off on his own. That's one thing to look at the score. You look at the clock, Andre. There is still 7.5 minutes to go in the
third quarter. A lot of time,
quarter.
my man. A lot of things can happen in this game.
And can Drew Mestemaker bounce back? He did so on the last drive with that touchdown pass to Coleman. Coleman now north of 100 receiving yards. Hawkins, first time he's had daylight tonight. True freshman inside the 30 before Tavin Ward brings him down. A gain of 30 yards.
Jimto Obedegwu throws a nice block inside, just kind of washes everything down inside.
And Mestemaker throws it away with the pressure coming from Devin Lee.
Yeah, they try to change and go tempo a little bit quicker themselves and right on the ball from that Hawkins run. But the big fella at right tackle has washed everything down inside for Hawkins.
Hawkins got the start today. He's taken over as the lead running back with 7 touchdowns in his last 2 games. Nobody open. Mestemaker slings it to the end zone, and it's incomplete in the direction of Young.
Man, he carries that thing low.
How correctable is that?
It's correctable, but you just gotta, it's just reps. And I'm quite surprised. I think he gets away with it because he's 6'4". But you know, with the height, and he can see over everybody. Otherwise, I would imagine he's getting anybody smaller get a lot of passes tipped at the line of scrimmage. But it's down around his waist and sometimes even lower than that.
pass to Wyatt Young. And he bubbles his way to the 21.
You want to talk about a guy that is a security blanket on, second and long, third and medium. You go to him on third downs.
4th and 2 in a game with a plethora of offense. They will go for it. Down by 21.
Here is Coleman.
He is not in the game. Fake to Hawkins. And the sack by Merrifield. South Florida takes over on downs.
Went out of the game with an injury and came back in and immediately affects things defensively for South Florida. I mean, right up the field. He beats the right tackle this time, Jimto Obedegwu, and all he could do is stand and watch his quarterback get sacked on 4th down.
Kai Davenport tries to run through a couple of mean green defenders and out to the 35, a pickup of about 7.
All he's done this year is average over 6 yards a carry. I mean, just some production. That tells you a lot about the offensive line.
A yard. Let's check in quickly with Paul.
Byron Brown, his energy is unreal on and off the field. On the sideline, infectious smile too. This is a guy that wants to be an orthodontist when he's all said and done with college football. He said when he was in high school, he had a gap between his front teeth. The braces took care of it, changed his confidence forever. He wanted to show off that big smile. I'm seeing this big smile a ton tonight.
He's got a 7-step routine for cleaning his teeth as Corey Pettigrew makes the first down catch. There is a North Texas player down.
Pettigrew with that last catch, another true freshman making plays. Seen Koger get in the end zone twice. Neptune throw him a touchdown pass. And then there, Pettigrew with his second reception of the season.
Colin Lewis, who had an interception earlier. And we talked to Alex Golesh about how he views this program, and he said when he took the job, it was clear to him that the administration, the athletic department, did not view this as a group of 5 job.
Right.
And he treats it as such. And then they go out and they beat Boise State. They go beat Florida. They go play Miami. That's their lone loss.
Because at one time, it wasn't a group of 5 job. It was ranked number 2 in the country. Back when Jim Leavitt was the
2007.
Head coach. Yeah. And so, they were everybody's darling at one point in time.
They were part of the group that after they launched their program, relatively young program, they got an invite into the Big East once teams started to go to the ACC, but the Big East was still a power conference at that point. And then once Big East football went away, South Florida, like a number of schools, they're trying to find a place in the college football world, but they're getting a new stadium, on-campus facility, and they want to go big in Tampa. Here's Isaac, flag down.
Be a hold, and this one will come back. The one thing that's consistent with an Alex Golesh offense, he's going to have experienced O-linemen up front. Last year he had a bunch of grad transfers. Same thing this year.
Defense, number 94. That 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Defensive hold.
You guys are talking about the upside of this program. They're dominating in recruiting. 33 commitments in the 2026 class. That's #1 in the American. USF's 2024 class was the best of any program outside of the Power 5. So Golesh not only knows how to coach, he knows how to recruit.
Flea flicker. Brown cannot escape.
May have kept it in the hands of Alvon Isaac a little bit too long before he decided to give it back to his quarterback, Byron Brown.
And Trey Fields able to make the play in the backfield.
They're not through scoring yet, Anish. They're not even worried about this clock. There's so much time left in this game. They got flea flickers and all kinds of stuff going on. End around passes.
Although they are taking their time.
A little bit slower. A little bit, the tempo's changed a little bit.
RPO. Mudia Rubin, the Stanford transfer. Big-time high school soccer player.
Graduated from Stanford in 3 years. Smart young man.
Got a degree in life and health science. A citizen of 3 different countries, the U.S., Canada, and Nigeria. Brown, the out route, incomplete. Patrick Smith-Young in coverage. Wanted the tight end Sullivan. And it's now 4th down and 9. Plus territory. They've got a kicker with a dynamite leg and great pedigree in Grammatica. But it looks like they may go for it here.
He's hit from 52 already this year against Boise.
And now they'll take the delay.
Trying to draw North Texas off sides.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And that's no way I'm accepting this penalty if I'm North Texas. Decline it because all they want is room to land this punt inside the 10, and I think they backed it up.
Chase Leon, the Australian.
You know, if you coach against me in the future, you know not to even try that.
I know 2 things. I know 1, if it's 3rd and short, 4th and short, you're not taking a snap out of the shotgun.
No way.
It's under center for QB sneaks.
Yep.
Leon took his time. Their catch called for and made by Coleman, who muffed a punt late in the first half that led to a South Florida touchdown. That's one of 5 turnovers by the Mean Green tonight.
Yeah, just interceptions that really hurt this North Texas team, and throwing one up, and each time 3 out of 4 turnovers have been, they've taken advantage of them and put them in the end zone. Big return there by Schuler. I won't get into the rest of that, but just an abundance of turnovers, forced turnovers for South Florida. Yet North Texas has still got a lot of time.
Too high for Landon Sides. Ben Knox in coverage.
What did we talk about earlier in this quarter? You hold it low. When you bring it up to throw it in a hurry, it's going to sail on you.
And with Mestemaker, you have to remember, Andre, this was a kid who had very few live reps in high school. He was a backup quarterback pretty much throughout high school. He started some games on the freshman B team, but never started a varsity game at QB. There's that middle screen. Coleman cut down right at the line of scrimmage.
He's chopped down by Rico Watson III.
3rd down and 10 with North Texas backed up.
And that's the strength of this South Florida defense, the linebacking core, where they've got a ton of experience. The front 7 is extremely deep.
McGill's the running back here on 3rd down. Estemaker has to check down to McGill. And he's going to be wrapped up at the 12-yard line by Rodney Hill. 4th down coming up. And now UNT has to punt.
We got a punt and play defense. Fortunately, they got a little bit of room to breathe where they can get this thing out of there.
Isaac is waiting on the logo near midfield. Redshirt freshman from Hawthorne, Florida. Sawyer Evans boots it away. Fair catch called for and made at about the 46. Bulls go back on offense with 1:42 in what has been a high-scoring 3rd quarter. South Florida's put up 28 points. There's a penalty marker all the way back at the 5-yard line near where Evans punted.
Not sure what this flag is about. Long conversation, I know that.
Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, did you see anything that would warrant a flag? We're going to get a reveal here, and then you can jump in.
My question to Matt would be, what's the long conversation about?
Illegal formation, kicking team. Number 25 was covered and it became uncovered. That's a 5-yard penalty to be added to the end of the kick. 1st down.
It's a long discussion for illegal formation, Matt.
Well, I think they wanted to verify that they saw what they think they saw. What happened was the left tackle was a numbering exception, and then they shifted, and that opened him. He went as a wide receiver, so that's illegal. If you start out as a numbering exception, the center's got his hands on the ball, you cannot become uncovered. So it's actually a good call. Just took him a while to get there.
And it puts the ball at the 49-yard line of North Texas for South Florida. 28-7, Bulls since halftime. 1:42 to go in the 3rd.
Well, I've been waiting all night for a shot play. And with this type of field position, would not surprise me. Well, they're tightening things down.
Brown hands off to Sam Franklin. Breaks the initial tackle and yanked down at the 45 for a gain of 4. Patrick Smith-Young the tackle.
Like Franklin may be banged up. He was tapping his helmet for a substitute, but they go so fast.
Brown on the QB keeper. Brought down by the laces, close to the 40.
They go so fast they couldn't get Franklin off the field.
Franklin is down now near midfield, and he's holding his foot.
He was asking out after that
for injuries,
1st down run.
Both offense and defense.
Smith-Young down for North Texas, one of their DBs. Franklin today, 8 carries, 51 yards. You mentioned earlier Franklin, Davenport, Isaac. You
Please
throw
reset the game clock.
The injured Cartavius Norton in there. Now the 4 backs that they've used all average better than 5 yards a pop.
Yeah, and then even Jalen Johnson, who's carried it 3 times, he averages about 8 yards a carry. So you can't go wrong and a lot of competition going on in that running back room for South Florida.
And then, oh, by the way, you got to worry about the quarterback, who's the lead
The big
rusher.
fella, yeah.
Franklin pops up. Saw Smith Young go off the field. Franklin ran for close to 1,400 yards at UT Martin 2 years ago. FCS All-American. Spent last season at Oklahoma. Didn't get a ton of work with the Sooners. For his career between the FCS and the FBS, he averages close to 7 yards a carry. But if he can't come back in with Norton out, Franklin may be banged up. This running back room continues to get thinner.
And Norton's out. Now Franklin's taken a rest. Isaac back in, and then there's still Davenport.
Isaac has 50 yards rushing on 8 carries. Direct snap. So Brown looked like he wasn't ready. They snap it right to Isaac, and he picks up the first down.
This is a fun game when you're an offensive lineman in the system for South Florida.
Quick throw off the fake. There's Jeremiah Coger. He's really starting to come on. Last week had his first career catch, which was a touchdown. Added 3 more. He has a touchdown today.
Yep, big game against Charlotte last week.
Wide open. That's Pettigrew. He's got 2 touchdowns today. In fact, close to 100 yards receiving.
Threatening again, already in the red zone, South Florida.
Final ticks of this third quarter. Isaac pummeled to the turf inside the 15. USF outscores North Texas 28-7 in the third quarter. We saw fireworks, actual fireworks at halftime. They put on a nice fireworks show, and then it carried
Fireworks
over.
happened.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Time, presented by Ram Trucks. Ganesh Rob, Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra with you. Friday night, Denton, Texas. DATQ Stadium. First sellout crowd in the history of this place, which opened for football in 2011. But 24th ranked South Florida has capitalized off of 5 North Texas turnovers. They lead 49-28 as we begin the fourth quarter. And the Bulls in the red zone here on 2nd and 7.
And threatening again.
Alvon Isaac powers to the 10. I know the competition the last couple of games hasn't been stout for USF, but against Charlotte and South Carolina State, 117 points, 1,100 plus yards of total offense in those 2 games. And they're on the verge of getting north of 50 again. Short pass to the tight end. Sullivan breaks a tackle and drags tacklers to the 3. First and goal.
Well, he is a really good-looking player. As I mentioned earlier, he can stretch the field, complete tight end, and excellent blocker at the line of scrimmage.
Going quickly, it's Isaac. He's ruled down at the 1.
Oh, and it was the block of Wyatt Sullivan that gave him a chance to get close to getting in. Nice little wham block on the defensive end, and got another player for North Texas that's slow to get up.
Yeah, it's Trey Fields, who was one of about a half dozen guys on defense to follow D coordinator Skylar Cassidy from Sam Houston to North Texas.
Trey Fields, he is a guy that they're going to have to lean on the rest of this season. Came over with defensive coordinator Skylar Cassidy from Sam Houston. Number 6 in there, and they're working on his leg. You think it's just a cramp.
USF tonight has run 73 plays. Last week against Charlotte, they ran 97.
Wow.
Hopefully I'll have something on Fields in just a moment. He is, without a doubt, the best communicator on this defense. So vocal on the sidelines, in the huddles. He was a youth league quarterback. He played for his dad, Dorland. And when I spoke to Trey this week, he told me, you got to be the guy when you're a quarterback. And his dad taught him at a young age, they will move how you move. So his actions on and off the field as a leader, critical for UNT.
Yeah, he tackles everything, Kark. And, you know, his tackle grade of 90.7 was the best in the country coming into this game. You talk about see it and hit it. That young man is a sideline to sideline player and tackles anything in the way.
Jumbo package here on 2nd and goal. And they feed the big offensive lineman for the touchdown. Cole Skinner, thick 6.
Oh, he'll remember that for a long time. Line him up at fullback. Bring in the jumbo package and big Cole Skinner. I mean, he didn't even have to. Basically, if he slides to his right, he goes in standing up and untouched. His job.
Call that a fullback dive.
Yeah.
You saw how nobody wanted to get in front of that?
Yeah, Merrifield was in there as well, leading the way.
56-28. USF in the last 3 games has scored 173 points.
A Ram, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
The Murchison Performing Arts Center, home to the renowned University of North Texas College of Music. The school developed the first jazz studies program in the nation. The heritage dates back 135 years when the school was founded. Just a tremendous music program here at the University of North Texas. Second half, it's been all South Florida, 35-7 Bulls since halftime. And I know a lot of the crowd has filtered out with the score being what it is, Andre, but today was a moment here for North Texas. They just ran into a buzzsaw in the second half. Turnovers did them in. And I mean, you look at that South Florida Bulls offense. I know Charlotte and SC State, it's one thing, but North Texas was 5-0 entering today.
And that was with a bunch of turnovers to start this game. You know, so they got it cleaned up in a hurry, but you know, it looked a totally different way when this game first kicked off.
TFL by DJ Harris. They had a sellout crowd here. It was a blackout. The students were out in full force. And after the last home game, which did not have strong attendance numbers, the message was sent that people will get behind a winning North Texas program.
Oh, yeah.
You hope that they can bounce back from this defeat and still have the support of their fans and students. As Sides hauls in a catch at the 30-yard line. On the other hand, Andre, South Florida's got 56 with plenty of time left. In a game, like you said, they turned it over 3 times in the first quarter.
Yeah.
They've beaten Florida. They've beaten Boise. They've played Miami. They're as battle-tested as any Group of 5 team in the country. I know Memphis has the Arkansas win. Navy's undefeated. But you got to put USF up there with the top playoff candidates out of the Group of 5.
I think so. And that resume that you just recited is going to go a long way in their favor as they work their way through the schedule. Now, it's a long season. And when you look at it, at Memphis, at Navy, two really, really tough games. The Tigers are going to be tough at home. And then when you talk about Navy, Navy can offset the speed in which South Florida likes to operate. They can slow them down. They can go on long drives. They can chew up a lot of clock and put a lot of pressure on this South Florida football team, especially on the offense.
Sides hauls it in. First down to midfield. Yeah, Navy South Florida becomes a contrast in styles.
I mean, you couldn't get more polar opposite than those two teams playing one another.
And those two games you mentioned, Memphis and Navy, both on the road.
Yeah, and Memphis has got a big win in their back pocket over Arkansas already.
Now, North Texas, they don't play Memphis. They don't play Tulane in the regular season. Short run by Hawkins.
Just thought there was a time in this game that Hawkins should have carried it a little bit more. And instead of going toe-to-toe, sometimes or taking headshots to give a boxing analogy, you go to the body a little bit every once in a while and kind of weaken the opponent from the midsection. Hawkins certainly capable of doing it.
Estemaker's throw too high. Andre, you've hit on this a couple of times. Where he sets up when he drops back, you've mentioned that causes the ball to sail.
It does, and because when you get ready to drive the ball, you've got to bring it up. And if you can't really step into a throw, then the ball's going to sail on you. And a couple of his interceptions were a direct result of that exact thing happening.
3 interceptions today, 0 entering play.
Yeah, I'd just like to see him carry it a little bit higher.
A first down catch for Wyatt Young, who has a touchdown today.
Now, if it's clean like that, you get away with it. You're in the shotgun. You don't get heavy pass rush. You can step into the throw and you deliver it with accuracy. But when things start to break down around you, that's when that's going to happen.
Almost brought in with one hand by Young, 2nd and 10. One of the things that they've been really impressed with Estemaker, his ability to soak up knowledge. He's a sponge, and you mentioned a mechanical correction maybe down the line. He seems like the kid that can make it. For somebody
no doubt
who did not have a ton of live reps before he got to college, and even last year started one game.
And keep in mind, he's just a redshirt freshman. He's got a lot of football to play, and I kind of described it today as a blank canvas. You can kind of mold him into what you want him to be, because he hadn't been, coached a lot in terms of mechanics and things of that sort, because he was never really the starter. Probably running scout team in high school a lot, playing defense and being was an all-district punter. So yeah, he could clean things up mechanically, and he's going to be just fine.
Merrifield is down again for USF. And we will step aside. 10:24 to go in regulation. South Florida doubling up North Texas.
No joke. Going to get a lot of different looks. Going to keep him playing the game between his ears.
Estemaker with nowhere to go. And he's going to be sacked on 3rd and 9.
Big Trayvon Mitchell finishing things off.
7.5 sacks at West Florida, a D2 school last year. Offense will stay out there. 4th down, 12 to go. (35-7) South Florida in the 2nd half. Nickel blitz down the seam, perfect throw, and Young hauls it in for a first down.
And he's shaken up, unfortunately. What a grab, Wyatt Young, but
lot of injuries in the game tonight.
Timeout on the field.
We will step aside. 9:28 left here in Denton.
And eventually captured the 3rd bowl win in school history. Led by a pair of Hall of Famers in quarterback Derek Thompson on offense and Zach Orr on defense, not to mention one of the most prolific all-purpose players ever in Greenland Chancellor, this team had it all throughout a 9-4 campaign. The 36-14 victory over UNLV in the heart of Dallas Bowl came on a sunny New Year's Day at the historic Cotton Bowl with nearly 40,000 Mean Green Maniacs in attendance. The Mean Green came from behind, outscoring the Rebels in the final quarter.
Anae Schroff, Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra. Friday night in Denton, Texas. North Texas had its chance early. South Florida committed 3 turnovers in the opening quarter. North Texas only scored points off of one of those. And then South Florida started to right the ship. And in the second half, it has been all Bulls. Mestemaker with a screen pass to Landon Sides. Cycloning to the 10, a gain of 6.
Sides is tough. Wyatt Young, another tough young receiver. Now they are set up to have long-term success. Mestemaker, just a redshirt freshman. And Caleb Hawkins, a true freshman, along with Coleman, who's just a sophomore. So all the big-time playmakers on this offense, they're young.
The challenge for not just North Texas, all the Group of 5 schools, how do you keep them? Here's Hawkins.
He fumbled.
South Florida saying the ball is out.
I think he did.
And he fumbled. It is turnover number 6 by the Mean Green.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense.
It was so...
First down, South Florida.
It came out just so slowly that you just didn't even think it was a fumble. But it starts to move around as he's fighting for yards.
Now that extra effort causes the ball to come out.
I'd love to see a different look to see if his knee indeed went down before or touched before the ball came out. Or was he held up by Schuler?
That's what Schuler does.
He's played some game.
Ruling
Man,
on the
is a good
field
player.
is a fumble recovered by the defense. That play is under further review.
Schuler had the fumble recovery for a touchdown earlier. Let's bring in Matt Austin.
Yeah, Andre, you're exactly right.
Matt,
about
right
the knee.
there is the knee down.
I believe it is, and then I don't think the ball came out till it hit the tackler's knee. So I do think this should be overturned to the runner being down.
Yeah, you can see the knee comes up off the turf on the last replay we showed you.
And then the ball's just kind of sitting there. Schuler doesn't even recognize that it's laying on the turf.
Schuler in his career entering tonight, 5 forced fumbles. Had one last week. He and Harris just seem to be in the middle of all the chaos.
Yeah. I mean, last week he had 10 tackles. He forced a fumble. got to the quarterback and forced the quarterback hurry.
Meanwhile, Harris on the season has 4 sacks and 3 forced fumbles.
The guy that's the forgotten linebacker, DJ Harris, he's a pretty good one as well.
He had a TFL tonight. Now, we mentioned when you have quality players at the group of 5 level, the bigger schools try to poach you.
Yeah.
That goes with the head coaches too.
There's a lot of movement already that will be filling jobs here in the coming months.
And you already hear Alex Golesh and Eric Morris's name linked to some of those openings. And you know, whether there's truth or not, it has to do with their success. That's why people put them on the
runner
list.
was down by a rule prior to the fumble. It will be 3rd down at the 10-yard line.
So that's a break for North Texas. It wipes a turnover off their ledger. They still have 5 tonight.
We talked about the schedule for South Florida. It doesn't get any easier for North Texas. They got UTSA coming in here next Saturday. Jeff Traylor's team.
14th play of this drive. Estemaker to the air. Along the sideline. And out of bounds, shy of the end zone. Trey Williams, the tight end.
To be stretched, trying to get to the end zone. Close.
Ooh, that is close. Yeah,
very close. And they take a look. The right foot's still in bounds. He stretches. It looks like
as the runner was short of the goal line. That play is under further review.
he may have gotten the football across the pylon before the second foot comes down out of bounds.
Let's put Matt Austin back to work. What do you see, Matt?
I agree with Anish. I agree with Andre that he's definitely in bounds. The key is, did he get the ball above or inside the pylon? And the ruling on the field being out of bounds, it must be clear and obvious that he did so. And without a shot right down the sideline, it's going to be kind of difficult to determine if it was over the top or inside. The other question is, the ball did come loose right at the end there, but I do think he was past the goal line before it came out of his hand.
Yeah, it's close. Really, really close. Right foot is indeed in bounds, and I think it crosses just over it before the left foot comes down out of bounds.
And again, as long as that ball is inside the pylon or it goes over the pylon, if any part of the ball crosses the goal line before he goes out of bounds, it's a touchdown.
That's exactly right.
Ruling on the field is important here. They put the ball at the 1. It was not a touchdown. Matt, here's a question for you. 8 minutes to go in this game. It is a 28-point game. A lot of times officials won't look at these plays and they'll point to the score because of the competitive nature of the game. Is this one of these situations where that would be in play, or are we still in the process of reviewing plays like this one?
I don't think it's in play because it's a scoring play. If this was a regular pass and did he get it for a first down or something like that, and this was the point differential, they may not stop the game for that. But since it does include a score, so I do think it's a good move to stop the game. And the other part of that story is the coach may challenge it if they don't stop it. So they may as well go ahead and take a look at it since it's a scoring play.
Yeah.
It is a long replay review. And this is where oftentimes I think you get the angst of football fans. 56-28, 7:53 to go. And if you haven't seen it by now, you may not see it.
Yeah, it only took Matt and I, like, what, two looks? We determined it was a score. It's a touchdown.
We have a terrific director in Ashley Ward, but that's not the shot that people want to see of an official staring into the replay camera.
After review, the ball broke the plane of the goal line. It's a touchdown.
Well, there you have it.
Good call, Matt.
(56-34) with the PAT coming. That looks like they will send out the offense for a two-point conversion. Maker able to complete to Dalton Carnes. Conversion's good. It's 56-36.
They set this up perfectly, driving guys into the end zone, and then they bring Carnes on the out route behind everything after it clears out, almost like a natural little pick.
And another player down. That looks like Mitchell. They call him Slug. Travion Mitchell. Mitchell, a D2 transfer from West. Had 17.5 TFLs and 7.5 sacks there last year.
Gulf South Co-Defensive Player of the Year with all that production that you just described.
We are closing in on close to 4 hours of game time. A game that started with two teams having playoff aspirations. It's the highest ranked group of 5 conference champion that gets the automatic bid to the 12-team college football playoff. And entering tonight, Memphis and ODU had the best odds, if you will. Now South Florida still plays Memphis. North Texas does not play Memphis or Tulane in the regular season, but that number for the Bulls will go up. Old Dominion has a win against Virginia Tech. Memphis undefeated with a win against Arkansas. But here's the key. At the end of the day, if the group of 5 representative is to come out of the American, which seems like the prevailing sentiment, You have to win your conference championship. Yeah. And then once the final rankings come out, it's only the conference champion and the highest ranked conference champion amongst all the group of 5 that gets in. Is there a possibility for an at-large? Sure, but if you're going to be an at-large, you've got to be in that top 12.
Yeah. You got to have the schedule. You got to put together a bunch of, decisive wins, even with the schedule, to become an at-large. If you're not going to be, if you're not the conference champion, so to speak.
North Texas lines up for an onside kick. Big bounce, fielded by Singleton, part of the Hands team. And South Florida has the ball with 7:52 to go. Now, one thing to watch here, Andre, it's a 20-point game, but South Florida does not love to run its 4-minute offense per head coach Alex Golesh.
Yeah, and neither do the players. They want to go. And the thing about it, when I was at Houston and we found ourselves in situations like this, Coach Pardee, he might put the backups in, but they were going to run the offense because you never knew when those guys were going to have to play for you, whether, by injury or whatever the reason. They needed the experience of having been on the field.
Flag down as Davenport carries across the 40.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 42, 15-yard penalty, first down.
It's kind of why a guy like David Klingler could throw for more yards as a backup than most guys would throw for as starters. See the hand clearly to the face.
Yeah, Braden Knox.
Yeah.
It's also why you wanted to get the ball to begin the game, because you knew receiving to begin the third quarter, it wouldn't matter if you're on the bench.
Might not be in. But no, I just believe, if you believe in your offense, you take the ball at the coin toss if you win the coin toss. I'm not waiting to see what happens in the second half. I'm going to try to dictate what happens in a game with an offense that I have confidence in.
Andre, you're talking about the backups, but Alex Golesh is going to have no choice to play some backups. Cartavius Norton, one of their starting running backs, didn't play today. Sam Franklin, he was in the tent earlier. Chaz Nimrod went to the locker room and has never returned. Keyshawn Singleton, a wide receiver, was in the tent. He came back, and we've seen some linemen like Mike Lofton banged up. So you just want to get out of here healthy if you're Alex Golesh.
Yeah. And he's also had, Clark, some youngsters. Pettigrew has played an outstanding game along with Koger. You want those young ones to step up.
Davenport erupting through the secondary, and it's a 1st and goal. It almost seems like it doesn't matter who they rotate in and running back, they get production. And Byron Brown, Andre still in there with a 20-point lead, 6.5 to go.
And he said as well, the conversation we were having earlier about, putting guys on the field and exposing them to maybe being poached.
That's real.
That is a real deal.
Yeah.
That is real right now in the world of college football.
I'll give you a great example of that after this play. Brown keeps, and he is in. A 5-touchdown night for Byron Brown. 3 through the air. That's his 2nd one on the ground.
Boy, everybody goes inside with Davenport. And it just opened up a nice crease on the edge. Pettigrew with a nice block on the outside for his quarterback. And essentially into the end zone untouched.
So, Andre, a couple of years ago on Friday night, we did a game, SMU at Temple. It was a blowout game, and late in the game, SMU with a big lead puts in its backup quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Jennings.
Yeah.
And now Jennings was the guy who led SMU to the playoff last year. They were able to keep him. We walked away after watching Jennings. I remember in the car ride home, you said, that kid is pretty good. And if he's the backup next year, they're going to have a hard time keeping him.
Yeah. Preston Stone was the starter at one point, and then I remember the game against BYU. Jennings came in, lit it up. They had a bye week. He ended up starting the next game, and Preston Stone served as his backup. He's now playing at Northwestern. So somebody was going to leave. It was just a matter of time.
That's why you've seen so many spring games go away, because yeah, it used to be with the spring transfer window, which has now gone away. Coaches were afraid to expose their guys in fear of losing out on guys that they developed to other programs over playing time.
That's very real.
Byram Brown tonight, leading rusher, leading passer, 5 touchdowns, and then Kroger, the freshman who had 4 catches for 75 yards and his first TD last week. Those were the first 4 catches of his career. He builds off that performance.
Look at that average for Kroger, 23.5 yards per catch. Just sick. Big play after big play for that young man. And boy, does he have a bright future out of Baltimore, Maryland, St. Francis Academy.
We get a new quarterback here for the Mean Green. It's the freshman Chris Jimerson. He's a dynamic runner. Now, he has a package in their normal offense. We didn't see it tonight. They'll just hand it off on first down. He's from Fort Worth. Ashton Gray into the game at running back. Jimerson dancing. Rifles 1-2 at the sideline, incomplete. First collegiate appearance for Jimerson.
Surprised to see Jimerson over Poffenbarger.
Reese Poffenbarger is the backup. He was at Miami last year. Backed up Cam Ward. There's the dynamic running ability of Jimerson, just nowhere to go. And it'll bring up 4th down. Now Poffenbarger also had a pretty good career at Albany before going to Miami.
Served as Cam Ward's backup last year. He's brought in to be the starter, and Eric Morris just said, hey, we're going to let you guys battle it out. And Estemaker ended up winning the job.
Cam Ward, by the way, was discovered by Eric Morris, and that in itself speaks to Eric Morris's ability to find talent. Fair catch, Neptune. Byram Brown, Lord Byram, has been the guy to make it go offensively.
Got it started early with a touchdown run, and then he found Koger in the corner of the end zone. And again, up top to Koger for a second touchdown. The nice touch pass over the top.
Brown's night is done. There's a new quarterback for South Florida. It is Gaston Moore. Played at Tennessee last year. I'm told no one's as slick as Gaston, no one's as quick as Gaston. Huge hole on first down. Chase Garnett. Both teams emptying their bench. Moore's an interesting story, the quarterback who's in now for USF. Golesh was his offensive coordinator for a time at Tennessee. He thought his career was done. He was working in Charleston, South Carolina, when Golesh called him and said, hey, our second-string quarterback, Bryce Archie, who started a bunch last year when Byron Brown was hurt. Archie also on the South Florida baseball team, was drafted by the Cincinnati Reds, and Alex Golesh said, hey, you have another year of eligibility. Do you want to come play for me again at South Florida? And Gaston Moore said, sign me up. Garnett breaks off another long run. They've got running backs everywhere, Andre.
Yeah, they are just super deep in that room. But they're also that deep at wide receiver as well. When you can lose a guy like
number 16, 10-yard
Nimrod,
penalty, the foul. Replay first down.
And not miss a beat in the second half. A guy like Koger steps up for you. Pettigrew steps up for you. Neptune steps up. And that's the future. 3 young, dynamic wide receivers have stepped up and made plays for this Bulls offense. And then you look at the running back room, a lot of production there as well. This is a good football team. And they would give a lot of teams anywhere problems.
Well, they already have. They beat Boise State. They beat Florida on the road. Garnett showing some shake, some sizzle, some speed.
You know, Anish, you're talking about all the skill along with Andre. How about the trenches, too? These boys up front on both sides. They brought in 18 new linemen from the portal. And they've been very, very effective tonight on both sides. If you talk to Todd Orlando, their defensive coordinator, he said he went 5 for 5 in the portal, finding big guys. So all the skill is on display, and this is an offense that's scored 54-plus points now for the first time in school history in 3 straight games. We got to give some love to these big guys up front.
Yeah, Kark, how about this? In the last 3 games, South Florida is averaging 60 points per game. And I get it, Charlotte, a program near the bottom of the American, South Carolina State, FCS. But 63 against North Texas. They've put up about 550 yards per game on average in that stretch. It's a Bulls offense. That is a stampede. Tonight they've made Denton their personal Pamplona. With the win tonight, South Florida's odds to make the college football playoff rise from 11% entering play to 19%. And remember, they still have a road game against Memphis. They still have a road game against Navy.
And sandwiched in between UTSA. And anytime you face Jeff Traylor's teams, you're going to be in for a fight. So that one's going to be tough, though they get UTSA at home.
Third down upcoming. The most points South Florida has scored against an FBS school is 65. They pick up the first down. We'll see if they keep running plays or just take a knee.
So allow that clock to just tick right on down.
Backup quarterback Gaston Moore in there with Chase Garnett as his running back. Here comes Garnett again, spin cycle, first down and goal from the 8-yard line. And Let's see if we just get kneel downs from here. This was a 21-21 game at halftime.
Yeah. But
42-15 in the second half.
It started with a double dip right at the end of the first half. Then they came out after halftime, went down, scored again. And it was all South Florida from that point on.
And I think Eric Morris is going to kick himself for the way North Texas could not capitalize on early mistakes. South Florida turned the ball over 3 times in the opening 15 minutes. North Texas only turned 1 of those turnovers into points, and then the turnovers became an issue for the Mean Green. They turned it over 5 times in this ball game. 28 points off turnovers for USF.
41. And set the play clock to 40 seconds. Both will start on my signal.
We know Memphis is pretty good. Andre, I don't think you can count out Tulane in the American.
No way.
He's undefeated.
Yep.
Where does South Florida fall in the American Conference pecking order?
Right in that conversation. I mean, when your only loss is to the number 2 ranked team in the country, who I feel like is the best team in the country right now. That says a lot about your program, and they not a lot of teams want to see South Florida pointed their direction.
Not a lot of teams score 63 points after turning it over 3 times.
Yeah.
But this offense for Alex Golesh and the Bulls continues to cook. They ran 60% of their plays tonight in North Texas territory. 575 yards of total offense. Myron Brown accounts for 5 touchdowns. The Bulls improved to 5-1. North Texas suffers its first loss of the season. For Paul Carcaterra and Andre Ware and our entire crew, I'm Anish Shroff saying so long from Denton, Texas. South Florida wins big, 63-36.